Hey everybody, Julian here with a brand new Bible journaling process video. Woohoo! Thanks so much for joining today. Yep, that's what I just said. I am using the Word Nerd devotional kit for today's entry. I have no idea even which week I'm going to do, 3 or 4. I know that I just want to create, haven't thought about this at all, just opened my Bible up to a random page. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys watch over my shoulder. I'll speed up my process and let you know where I ended up going, what inspired it, all that. Alright, so I decided to go ahead and do week 4, which is this food for thought card, and I have a couple different things here. A piece of patterned paper from the You Are Loved collection, 6x8 paper pad from Illustrated Faith and Bella Boulevard, and recently I had looked at one of Elaine Davis's Bible journaling entries and decided to scrap lift her. I love the way that she uses patterned paper in her journaling entries, and I've been just doing it ever since. So I saw one particular entry, and I'll go ahead and show it now, that I basically just wanted to scrap lift. And so that is, if you're not familiar with that term, that basically means you're using that as a template, almost as inspiration for whatever kind of project you're working on. In this case, it's going to be a journaling Bible entry. So I am using this piece of pattern paper, tearing it similarly, and then I'm going to layer a die cut piece on top of that patterned paper in the bottom right hand corner. But I thought it would be fun also to use a scrap of the paper that I messed up when I was trying to tear it, and decided to put that in the top left corner just to kind of echo the paper on the bottom. But I didn't want to cover up the verse that I'm journaling, so I created a little washi hinge with some clear washi tape that I have. That way you can pull it back to reveal the verse, in this case 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17. So I knew I wanted to use a stack of books in this week's entry, and the little die cut piece that came with the kit was a bit smaller than I wanted, so I decided to go ahead and cut up the week 4 devotional card and use those books instead. So I am going to adhere the piece of patterned paper onto the page, but instead of covering up the text with that stack of books, I'm going to similarly create another washi hinge for the larger stack. I am going to use the smaller stack of books and this cup of coffee because that is one of my favorite things, hot cup of coffee and my Bible. Like in a previous process video I had posted, I don't love all of the extra white space around these die cut pieces, so I trimmed some of that off. And I'm putting that up into the top left there as a reminder to use those pieces with the number 4, because I want to note, using those homespun number stickers, that this is the week 4 entry for this devotional kit. Just like in that entry of Elaine's that I showed you, she had some paint swiped on her page with the baby wipe, and I thought instead of using acrylic paint, I already have these ink pads out in my little bin here of kit pieces. I decided to go ahead and put the baby wipe on the stamp pad and then swipe that on the page instead. So you can see that I used that scrap, that now card scrap, to test it out, see what it was going to look like, and before I put it on my page. I originally started drying it in between layers, but you'll see that I'm going to go in a few other places and I end up skipping that step. As I was doing this, I remembered that I had seen Andrea do this in one of her videos, using a baby wipe dipped in an ink pad to highlight her verse. So tons of inspiration from the Bible journaling community today in this week's post. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to take inspiration from our other artists, but it's so important to remember to credit them if you do end up sharing it. I love this Bible Nerd stamp and thought instead about using one of the die cut pieces, but I really wanted the painted background to stand out, so I decided to just go ahead and use the stamp. So I'm kind of fidgeting a little bit here, moving things around, staging them on my page, trying to see where they might look best before I go ahead and put them down. And so I'm going to basically mimic that large flap on the bottom right by putting the little books up on the top left there too. I thought about using this number 4 up there, move it around a little, and then a little later you'll see that I decide to put it back on the sticker pad and see where it will look best someplace else. So I'm going to stamp down this Bible Nerd big and bold next to the verse that I'm journaling today. and then I'm going to go ahead and underline the verse. I had so much fun doing this entry. I just wanted to create, and so I am a bit indecisive. You'll see me throughout the video, like putting things down, picking them back up, but I was just having fun, really enjoying the process. I had pulled this stamp set. It's from the How He Loves Us devotional kit. I think that was the name of it. And I really liked the texture stamps that were included there. I had originally pulled it out because the hearts in that stamp set are very similar to the hearts on the die cut pieces in this kit, but didn't end up using them. But again, I like to shop my stash, put them in this plastic bin, so that I have them when I do kit entries. So I'm just drawing some journaling lines here underneath the Bible nerd. And this week, the contributor talks about remembering how good and how life-giving and beneficial it is to read our Bibles. She likens it to eating a donut versus eating a veggie scramble for breakfast. She knows, she likes what's in the scramble, right? She likes what's included and knows that it's better for her than the donut will be in the long run. And so I thought that was a really cute analogy here. And I just wrote a simple prayer that says, Lord, remind my heart how much more beneficial and life-giving it is to spend time in your word instead of scrolling. What I do with some spare moments, in all honesty, is take to social media when really I could whip out my Bible app on my phone and be reading that. And so yeah, there's just a little simple prayer there next to this verse. I'll go ahead and read it to you. It's 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 16 and 17. It says, all scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. So I'm fidgeting around here with the washi tape. I really just don't want to cover up any of the ink or anything like that. So I don't really want to put down these opaque pieces like die cuts and washi tape because I want that like painted background to show through. So up at the top here, I decide to go ahead and put a tab on the top of the entry, and it says #WordNerd, and then I'm just going to layer some things here, like this plus sign with the little texture marks there. I decided to put the number 4 for my week 4 entry up at the top there, and then I saw this heart that said life, and I was like, whoa, look at how perfectly that works out. #WordNerd for life. So fortuitous. I have no idea why, but I really wanted to use my tiny attacher on this entry, so I put some staples up at the top and the bottom of the page, and then I decided to put a bit more orange up at the top left of my entry, peeking out from under the paper, and that's gonna do it for me. Here's a finished look at my entry along with a couple of close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below. I love hearing from each and every one of you. Be sure to check back on Wednesday for a brand new Bible journaling process video, and I'll see you next time.